Welcome back to Between Bails. Hailing a taxi or grabbing an Uber has never been harder. Since things with the pandemic started slowing down, the number of drivers or for-hire cars dropped drastically in 2020, causing stress on those in need of a ride. So joining us now is Chris Gerace, a contributor of the RideShareGuy.com, to talk about if this trend of frustration will continue. Chris, welcome. Thank you for being here. You know, everywhere people really right now are annoyed with these crazy high prices from Uber and Lyft, even taxis at times. I find myself, having a $20 ride. At one point I saw it was $80 my usual ride home. Why? Can you talk a little bit about why rates are so high right now?
Yeah, essentially it comes down to supply and demand. As restrictions and things are lifting and people are going out doing their normal activities, whether it's going out to have fun, going to work, whatever it might be, they're ordering Uber and Lyft. The drivers, though, haven't come back as quick as the rides have. And these companies both have something where it's called dynamic pricing, which essentially uses the real-time data versus how many rides are coming in versus how many drivers are available on the platform, things like that. And then it will adjust prices based on that information. That's why we're seeing such a higher amount of prices versus what it normally used to be.
We've been in kind of this reopening phase for a few weeks, in some states a few months. I wonder why, if you could talk a little bit about why it's been such a struggle for companies like Uber and Lyft to get drivers to come back or to get new drivers and find drivers.
Sure. Yeah, there's quite a few reasons. Well, I'll just go over them real quick if you have any more questions to ask. But things like the relationship strain between Uber, Lyft, and its drivers, that is really kind of coming forward now. Some drivers just went to other things during the pandemic, whether it's to other gigs like Doordash, Postmates, Uber Eats, Instacart, anything like that, where it's food delivery or shopping. They might like that better. They might prefer that now versus rideshare, so they might not be coming. They might not be comfortable having people in their car yet. Sometimes people don't like the masks anymore and kind of want to get past that. Those are a few complaints I'm seeing from some people now. Things like unemployment. And then people might be going to other places to follow other jobs, other dreams, whatever it might be.
Well, you mentioned unemployment. That's been a lot of criticism in the labor force, getting people to come back to the workforce. But I know Uber, for example, said it launched a $250 million stimulus boost as an incentive to try to draw drivers back in. Do you think that's going to be enough?
I think that the problem is part of the strain, the relationship strain that they've had with drivers when it comes to normal pay, that is still there. And people see that. They might claim that bonus or whatever they might be getting to try to bring them back, but it doesn't mean that they're going to stay on the platform. So it probably won't be enough for the current time frame. Into the future, yeah, we'll see things go back to normal. But until that, they might have to think of a couple of other ways to try to bring drivers back and keep them on the platforms.
To that point then, right, if this is not probably a long-term solution for the company, drivers may just pop in, get the bonus, and then, bail out. What matters to drivers, especially in terms of keeping them around?
Essentially, most drivers agree better pay rates. That's probably the biggest thing right there. Some other drivers do want different things like benefits, whether it's healthcare coverage, whether it's some sort of, better condition or anything like that. Safety conditions are a big thing as well, too.
It's interesting because here in New York City, we've seen the New York City Taxi and Limousine Commission talk about an uptick on taxi drivers, the traditional yellow cabs that Uber and Lyft were eating from, essentially. They've seen an uptick during the pandemic. I wonder, do you think this boost in the taxi side, the traditional taxi side, continue as Uber and Lyft potentially rebound, if they're going to rebound, in this year at least?
It'll probably go for a little while. As Uber and Lyft's supply and demand issues get back in equilibrium, riders are going to be looking to get home, to go to where they're going, whatever it might be. So taxis are an absolute option, especially with the dynamic pricing. It could bring an Uber or Lyft much higher than what a taxi would be. So if taxis were smart, and they are, they're using the same systems now. and they're going to try to probably capitalize on Uber and Lyft having these issues. So yeah, they could definitely have something where they're going to be enjoying this business at least for the near future. As equilibrium hits, as we're used to seeing these people get a ride within 5 minutes, the prices are back to normal. You're probably going to start seeing that shift back to Uber and Lyft.
Really quickly here, do you think there's going to be any long-term effects for Uber and Lyft?
Long term, probably not. It'll probably bounce back, and it's just going to take several months. So probably in the September timeframe, after the unemployment ends, you're going to see more drivers coming back. As people feel more comfortable, they're going to come back. As other gigs like Doordash or Instacart might start shrinking.
Do you think it'll be this year, though? Just real quick. I'm sorry, we're running against the clock.
No, that's fine. It could be, but it's going to be later this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris Gerace, a contributor at the RideShareGuy.com.